cousin started screaming, I got hit, I got hit.
Tourists run for cover as a gunman opens fire in a strip casino.
It was chaos.
Learn more about the shooter who took aim at random people from a sniper's viewpoint.
I never seen anything like it. Everybody just was hitting the ground. Nobody knew what was going on. People were screaming.
And for the second day in a row, we matched record-setting temperatures in the valley. But in neighboring states, they're blowing past records set decades ago.
Now, your number one 11 p.m. newscast. Channel 8 Eyewitness News in HD.
People were diving behind slot machines as a gun-toting man in a trench coat opened fire in a strip casino.
Detectives are piecing together what made 51-year-old Steve Zagrian so distraught that he randomly shot at people inside New York, New York. They say he had been roaming the strip since Wednesday when he reportedly threatened to commit suicide. Channel 8 Eyewitness News is live. Melissa Duran joins us from the desert in Arterial. Melissa, do police think he was still suicidal when he was actually walking the strip?
Well, actually, they did, Dave. Police say they believe Zagrian wanted to have a confrontation with an officer on the strip to carry out a suicide by cop. We talked to friends of the suspect who saw him just a few days ago. They were all shocked to hear what happened, but say lately he just hadn't been acting like himself. Police cars swarm New York Hotel and Casino after reports of a man opening fire inside. 4 people were hit, all of them suffering non-life-threatening injuries. 13-year-old Troy Sanchez was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I get shot in the leg. I fall on my knees and grab a shirt and tell him I'm shot. And then he drags me over to behind one of the table areas, the game areas. And that's when I was asking for help, and that's when he started calling 911. 2 military men and 2 off-duty officers from Florida managed to tackle 51-year-old Las Vegas resident Steven Zagrian as he was trying to get away. Police say Zagrian fired off 16 shots from the mezzanine level down towards the casino floor.
My cousin started screaming, I got hit, I got hit. I'm shot, and there was blood, and it was just...
It was chaos in there.
It looked like he was starting to come down, and people just started moving back where I was standing, and he was yelling, come and get me, come and get me. And it's just, I never seen anything like it. Everybody in the whole place was just on the ground.
Christine Smith, a former neighbor of Zagrian, says she hardly recognizes the man in this mugshot.
Troubled, yeah, troubled. Older, you know, like depressed or something. It's just not, he just doesn't look like him.
But she knew something was wrong when he came to her house on July 4th, saying he got an out-of-town job and was leaving.
Because I asked him, I said, Steve, you're not telling me the truth. What kind of a job? I asked him, what kind of job do you have? Oh, I just rather not say.
Smith says he worked as a painter around town, but lost work and became homeless for a while last year. He slowly got back on his feet, but Smith says she never thought it would come to this.
I just can't believe it, this is happening.
That feeling of disbelief is shared by tourists on the Strip who became victims of a man's rampage. Police are saying their suspect has no link to anyone at the New York Hotel and Casino, that this was a completely random location. Dave?
Melissa, those guys who tackled Zagrian, I mean, they really took their life in their own hands, didn't they?
Oh, they definitely did. Detectives in a news conference today were quick to point out and call these men heroes. They're actually hoping to release the video surveillance tape to the public so that everyone has a chance to get a look at what these guys did. Dave?
No question. Thanks, Melissa. Police say a 4th of July visit to the Las Vegas Strip turned deadly for one man. They say 22-year-old Anthony Andrini accidentally fell off the pedestrian walkway bridge between the New York and the MGM. He died later at the hospital. No details were given on how he actually fell.
Our heat goes on. Today we smashed a daily record for the 2nd day in a row. Gina's here, and I guess this warning is extended.
It is. The excessive heat warning goes into tomorrow. Okay. And the reason why is, number one, the overnight low temperatures will not be that low. So that's going to start us off pretty hot. Yeah. Then we're just going to build on that as we move through the day tomorrow. Great. So a current look at the numbers outside right now. I know it's going to be another hot day. We're outside right now. Look at these. Triple digits still going on in the valley. North Buffalo coming down a little bit. Same with Red Rock, but just about everywhere else seeing the triple digits right now. West Tropicana 101. Outside the valley, Laughlin still 105 degrees. Lake Mead 106. Ooh, Laughlin came down a little bit. Good news for you. 102. Death Valley also came down a little bit at 109. Mount Charleston, current number there, 74. So here it is. Dangerous heat continues as we move through the day tomorrow. The reason why, a strong area of high pressure still influencing our weather, breaking down a little bit, but not as much as anticipated. So tomorrow, do your best to stay out of the sunshine, keep hydrated, and check on the elderly. Be careful with the kids and, of course, your pets, too, because the heat is dangerous tomorrow. Then I've got the forecast for Sunday and next week as well, coming up a little later. Paula?
Thanks, Gina. We're not the only ones complaining about this oppressive heat. Across the West, places are mowing down past records and bracing for dangerous conditions. Karen Brown has more on Mother Nature's inferno.
High temperatures are unnatural this time of year in the desert, but in Boise, Idaho,
it's unbearable. You don't want to be out there.
The temperature is expected to climb to 107, leaving high and dry the last record of 101 in 1985.
Just keep it in the water, keep them cool with the water.
Even those who are used to the summer heat,
I like hot weather,
are doing everything to get out of it as the mercury continues to climb, just like this bear who apparently went wandering from the woods looking for a drink. Unfortunately, the bear ended up in the middle of Lancaster, California, desert country, and finally gave up the search and returned to the wild. With readings like 115 in Phoenix, 125 in Baker, California, and close to 100 in Stanley, Idaho, normally the coolest place in the United States, this weather can be deadly. A 15-month-old boy died after being left for hours in a car in another part of Idaho. The extreme heat can be so dangerous that here in California, the governor has opened up cooling centers like this one here in Hollywood for the elderly. They can come in, they can grab some water, they can play a little bit of bingo, but more importantly, they can take refuge from the heat.
It is so hot that people, you can't breathe, and this is dangerous.
In fact, the heat wave slamming the West is most dangerous for the very young and the very old.
B15.
It's not just people wilting in the heat. Farmers are watching their crops closely. Sustained heat can be deadly for agriculture as well, impacting not just the farmer in the West, but consumers across the nation. Karen Brown, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And Las Vegas and Clark County have some cooling centers, too, where anyone can seek refuge from the heat. There are 7 cooling stations around the valley where you'll find refreshing AC, plenty of water, and even a little entertainment. It can be a lifesaver for those who run into unexpected trouble.
There's been a couple incidents when my air conditioning breaks completely and we'd have to go stay in a hotel room, and we can't really afford that, and so it's really great to have options like this now.
The cooling centers will be open until tomorrow at 7 p.m. To find out where there's one near you, go to our website, lasvegasnow.com.
And the heat caught a firefighter off guard while he was battling flames at a local tanning salon. He was taken to UMC and another person treated for smoke inhalation in this case. Fire crews say a woman was there tanning and she first smelled the smoke. Multiple fire units responded due to the heat. Most of the fire burned in the attic of the building. The cause is still unknown.
Police are looking for a robber who shot a victim even though he was cooperating. It all started when 2 men were kicked out of a Pep Boys store because the clerk thought they were about to steal something. In the parking lot, police say they robbed a man who was working on his car. And even though he went along with their demands, they shot him in the arm anyway. SWAT teams locked down a neighborhood near Boulder Highway and Gibson searching for the men. They caught one of them, but they're still looking for the second.
A local woman says a conflict with her boss led to invasion of her privacy.
They played the tape. It was just a brief portion of it, me saying something derogatory about my manager.
The hospital worker was caught on tape bashing her boss, but now those secret recordings are the center of a criminal investigation. The I-Team's Colleen McCarthy shows us how a personality conflict now has Metro's attention. And incredible video of a bus crash that left several students severely injured. They address the drugged driver in court. Coming up.
In this gambling mecca, you know, 7s are supposed to be very lucky.
That's why hundreds of couples are betting on tomorrow's date, 7707, to bring them luck in love. They're all racing to the altar. Every wedding chapel in town is booming with business for tomorrow's lucky date. And they're cashing in, too, selling everything from 777 pendants, shirts, and bouquets of 7 roses. But before they walked down the aisle, many had to endure the unbearable heat waiting in line for their marriage license.
It's definitely worth it. 7707. I mean, that only happens, what, once in a lifetime, right? I am getting married tomorrow.
They say the Clark County is processing on average about 100 marriage licenses an hour for tomorrow's big day. And hey, someone has to bake cakes for all those weddings. Freed's Bakery will be handling 240 orders for the day. On a normal day, they make maybe 20 wedding cakes. They actually stopped taking orders a month ago because of the backup.
We've had Christmas holidays that have been lined up out the door all the way to the curb. But this is by far the busiest, the most organization, the most production, the most time-sensitive operation we've ever done.
Wow, 48 employees have been working around the clock since last weekend to get all those cakes made.
Should be entertaining, but it can become addictive. For one group in our community, it may be a habit they really can't afford. For senior citizens, gambling addiction can start with loneliness, and having access to a lifetime of savings can make a devastating combination. Many aging adults are too proud to admit they have a problem, and some end up losing their nest egg, their homes, and they have no time to start over.
If you're 80 and you lose your life savings, you're not going back to work.
And I think that day I lost about $4,000. And I came out suicidal.
Dr. Robert Hunter, who founded the Problem Gambling Center, says gambling is very similar biochemically to drug or alcohol addiction. He also says, though, for seniors, the stigma can be worse. For information on how to get help for problem gamblers, go to our website, lasvegasnow.com.
A construction worker is in critical condition tonight after she was struck by a pickup truck on the 215. Authorities say the woman was working on the road when a blue pickup truck left the travel lanes, hit a median, and then struck the worker. NHP doesn't believe drugs or alcohol is involved. The driver of the pickup is cooperating with authorities. A ride to school with a school bus driver high on cocaine and prescription drugs changed several young lives forever. Today, the victims told 29-year-old Angelina Young how they felt about her reckless disregard for their safety. Shannon Kettler was at the sentencing.
Angelina Young, who was around 7 months pregnant, came to court today and surprised everyone by trying to change her guilty plea. The judge rejected her motion, and the prosecution began the sentencing phase by playing the video from on board the school bus the day of the crash. Tears ran down the faces of the victims and their families as they watched the tape. Prosecutors say Young was on cocaine, marijuana, and prescription painkillers at the time of the crash. All 17 students on board were injured, but 2 were critical. Cody Shively lost part of his skull and is still recovering. His brother addressed Young.
You are the worst bus driver ever. You should have never taken the drugs because you have a baby. I still have my brother, and you make me sick.
Also injured was Jacob Cleese. He lost his vision in his left eye and can no longer taste or smell anything. His sister, who was also on board, spoke to Young.
My family has been through the hardest 6 months of their lives, and it's all your fault. I think you should be in jail 10 times longer than the 22 years you have been given.
Another student also talked about the horror.
You can say you're sorry 1,000 times, but it will never bring back the images. It will never bring back the feelings I lost that day, and it will never replace the images that are in my head. And many people will forgive you, but they'll never forget what you did to us.
Wow, powerful stuff. Young was sentenced to 22 years in prison for the January crash. Police say she ran the bus off a highway, overcorrected, and slammed into a utility pole.
A mudslide buried a busload of people in Mexico, and it looks as though there are no survivors. At least 24 bodies have been recovered, and tonight, 24 hours after the tragedy, rescuers do not believe they will find anyone alive. Officials say the bus was on a remote road in rural Mexico, carrying 40 to 60 passengers when a rain-soaked mountainside gave way. Among the bodies, a woman found clutching her dead child in her arms. The suspects in the UK bombing may have had plans to attack the U.S. The FBI confirms that at least 2 of the suspects contacted a Philadelphia-based agency that certifies doctors from overseas. The suspects never followed through, though. Prosecutors are pushing forward with the case against one of the doctors arrested in the UK. And in Australia, police raided hospitals, taking 4 men into custody.
They've been interviewed and computer communications equipment has been seized for further examination.
It is quite a complex investigation, and the links to the UK are becoming more concrete.
As the investigation continues into last week's bombing and attempted bombings, Britons are remembering tomorrow as the 2-year anniversary of the subway bombing that killed 52 people.
Well, despite daily violence and American troops being killed, the top commander in Iraq is asking for more time to see if the troop surge will be successful. The aftermath of a deadly bombing in Baghdad was hard to miss. A car bomb targeted a wedding party, killing more than a dozen, injuring 24 more. A problem U.S. forces are having in Iraq is getting the Iraqi police force to meet standards.
Either it doesn't exist, or in some cases the Iraqi police that are out there are either not competent or corrupt, and that's a problem.
A new report on the war is due in mid-September, and commanders say the public needs to wait until then to see if progress is truly being made. Another prominent Republican lawmaker is standing up against the war. The third GOP senator in 2 weeks is calling for a change of course in Iraq.
I am calling for a new strategy that will move our troops out of combat operations and on the path to continuing to home.
Leading Democrats are expected to push for a vote in July to bring the troops home by April of next year. And Senator Pete Domenici said he is among a number of Republicans who will support that bill.
Spying on hospital employees. One local woman says her job and her reputation were put on the line when she was secretly taped at work. What's even scarier, the hospital may have recorded patients too, whether they meant to or not. Now that hospital is caught up in a criminal investigation. I-Team reporter Colleen McCarthy is here with her exclusive report. Colleen.
Well, I think most of us have had those days when maybe we said something we shouldn't have about our boss, and most of us hope they never hear about it. But police say one local hospital went to great lengths to document a workplace dispute, secretly tape recording an admissions clerk and potentially you in the process.
Within these walls, privacy is paramount. Communications with medical staff, like those with a lawyer or a priest, are considered confidential, even sacred.
I knew it was wrong. They knew it was wrong.
But Kelly Perez, an admissions clerk at Southern Hills Hospital, says as an employee, she got all the privacy of a hospital gown.
It was the worst feeling ever. I mean, you share something with somebody and you don't expect everybody to hear it.
Perez claims the hospital used her own words against her by hiding a tape recorder in the admitting area and secretly recording her conversations with coworkers and potentially with patients. The invasion of privacy made public last January in a hospital boardroom.
They played the tape. It was just a brief portion of it, me saying something derogatory about my manager, and then we left the meeting and were told to raise our hands and swear that we would all walk out and not repeat what took place.
Some of her co-workers must have had their fingers crossed because Kelly claims rumor of the recording spread like a bad rash. Humiliated, she says she turned to hospital management for help to silence the gossip and investigate the recording. But she says instead she was demoted and threatened with worse.
In the write-up, there was no mention of a tape, so I felt they're trying to hide something.
Perez lodged complaints with the Federal Office of Civil Rights and with the Metro Police Department, believing the recording is against the law. What may have begun as a personality conflict is now a criminal investigation, with the hospital's human resource manager as the prime suspect.
Somebody placed the recorder.
Our information is that someone got permission to place the recorder because of the incident. So my feeling is that the person who gave permission to place it is probably culpable in this incident.
A representative for Southern Hills Hospital refused to answer questions about the incident, but instead issued a statement indicating the hospital is cooperating with police and that the recording was made in a non-patient area as part of a workplace dispute.
If they wanted this information, they could have gone about it a different way.
Perez still goes about her work at the hospital.
Yes.
Though now she approaches the job a little differently, with her eyes wide open and her mouth tightly shut.
Police tell us they plan to submit their case to the district attorney's office next week. But one major issue remains unresolved, and that's whether patient privacy was compromised. The Federal Office for Civil Rights, that's the agency that enforces HIPAA, will take a look at that issue.
Yeah.
As for Perez, she's considering legal action of her own.
Sounds like Big Brother a bit, doesn't it?
It does.
Thanks, Colleen.
Well, a worldwide concert to raise global awareness about climate control kicked off tonight in Australia. The Live Earth concert is the first concert to span all 7 continents, including Antarctica. More than 150 artists in all will perform to huge crowds all over the world. Former Vice President Al Gore, who is leading the event, says Live Earth will set a new green standard for the music industry.
Cool. Antarctica doesn't sound too bad.
That does.
I know. Oh, it'd be so nice.
Across the West.
Yes, it'd be nice to cool off by a degree, which we did today.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Compared to
A whole degree.
I know, but it's something.
It
gives us a little bit of hope.
It's the right direction.
Right, exactly. Here it is. Today we did in fact tie a record at McCarran International Airport. High temperature 115. That ties the record that's already in place for this date. And when I talk about records, I mean for this date specifically. I'm not talking about the whole year. I'm just talking about today. Desert Rock, Nevada hit 111, and in California, Daggett also broke a record today. 115 was the high temperature recorded thanks to this heat wave that we've got going on. And it doesn't only happen at McCarran International Airport, I know. It happens in your neighborhood too. So here's a look at the high temperatures that we reached around the valley today. 114 for El Dorado, Lamb 112, East Sahara 116. These numbers a little cooler than yesterday. 109 for West Alta, West Desert Inn 115, Anthem 111 today. Water Street hit 112, East Charleston 114, East Flamingo 116, the Strip 115, and outside the valley, all of these locations triple digits, including Boulder City and Searchlight and Pahrump as well. Now, as we move tomorrow, I didn't think I'd have to show this map again, but I do. It's highlighting the areas that are below 4,000 feet in Clark County and surrounding areas. And not only for Nevada, but also for Arizona and parts of Southern California. This is a heat warning that, again, will continue as we move through the day tomorrow until 9 p.m. That's when it will expire, and that's when we should feel a little better relief from the heat. But until that happens, expect another hot day as we move through our Saturday. Here's the forecast. A few clouds around from time to time, offering us a little bit of a change. 87 degrees as you start your Saturday around 7 a.m. 84 degrees for Pahrump, Laughlin already in the 90s at that point. And as we move through the afternoon, temperatures may in fact be a little cooler than they were today, but still hot and well above the average for this time of year. We should be around 103, 104 for high temperatures, but the forecast calls for 111 for Las Vegas's high temperature tomorrow. Yes, Paula, I heard you moan. I heard you groan. I know it's still hot. Then as we move through Sunday, getting a little better, 110, and Monday and Tuesday, feeling a little better there too. Then we're going to heat up as we move through midweek next week. Also, what you may notice midweek next week, if everything holds together, we could see some more humidity coming back. We could see some more clouds around, and we could even see a few showers and thunderstorms.
Well, it is
which we need.
That time of year we typically get that.
Exactly. So we need it. And it's coming.
Let's hope we get it. All right,
yes.
Gina, thank you.
You're welcome.
We need a diversion.
We need to be inside watching basketball.
Yes.
I was at the Speedway on Tuesday. I'm not doing that again for a while. Coming up next in sports, the NBA Summer League is here, and that means the return of a UNLV fan favorite. Lou Amundsen talks about his NBA journey. And the journey began tonight for the top overall pick in last week's draft. The big debut for the big man. Next, Channel 8 Eyewitness News. Back after this.
If you're not watching Channel 8 in the morning, you're missing
the stories and the people.
Everything that happens overnight in a city that never sleeps.
A brighter way to start your day.
Whether you're getting your kids off to school,
which can be a little bit of a chore at my house.
5 kids.
Or just trying to stay ahead of the weather.
Join us weekdays for Eyewitness News this morning. It's not just news.
It's our news. It's a brand new day in the valley.
The other guy's traffic reports can be up to 30 minutes old, but Channel 8's Beat the Traffic shows you what's happening on Valley roads right now. The other guy's traffic report doesn't tell you how long roads are backed up, but Channel 8's Beat the Traffic shows you how long a tie-up will slow you down to the minute. In fact, with more traffic cameras around the valley than any other station and a Skywitness 8 view, why would you watch anything else? Beat the Traffic real-time traffic reports only on Channel 8 Eyewitness News HD. Now, Channel 8 Eyewitness Sports with Michael Berk.
In college basketball, you are allowed 5 fouls before being disqualified. So it's a good thing Greg Oden turned pro. Had he not, he would have fouled out twice tonight. Oden making his pro debut at the Cox Pavilion. Las Vegas Summer League gets underway. Oden into foul trouble with 3 quick ones. Fouled out with 10 fouls tonight. That's the Summer League rule. His first bucket was on a goaltend. His second bucket, a little more memorable. The rebound and the follow. But again, Odin fouled out with 10 fouls, scoring just 6 points. Here's Sidney Green's kid, Torian, trying to make the Portland roster. Nice steal and reverse layup. He, of course, led the Gators to back-to-back titles. No title tonight. Durant went to Seattle as the draft's second overall choice last week. Sonics played the Mavericks earlier tonight. Durant missed his first 5 shots, but got hot. Little fall away, gets the Sonics within 6. And then Kevin, later on in that first half, with the team down 4, comes up with a nice little jump hook. But Dallas pulled away 77-66 to win that league opener.
It was tough. I started off slow, but my teammates helped me pick me up a little bit, got me the ball in good positions, and I was able to score a little bit. That I was a little nervous days leading up to the game, but my teammates did a great job and just calmed me down a little bit.
And Durant will be back on the floor Monday night at 7 against the Knicks. A familiar face is back in town as former Rebel Lou Amundsen is part of the Sixers summer squad. Philly opened play in the 10-day Hoops Fest with a game against the Spurs this afternoon. Lou had a solid outing, 16 points, 11 rebounds for the kid who bounced from the Kings to the Jazz before finally sticking with the Sixers.
It's just fun to be out here to play, and I'm just trying to have fun. I mean, I know I belong out there, and you know, it's just every time I get out there, I have to prove it to myself again.
He'll get that chance with the Sixers as they play again tomorrow at 3 against the Pistons. The Dodgers' final series before the All-Star break comes against the Marlins. Game 1 of that series tonight in Los Angeles. Dodgers trailed 3-0 to Dontrell Willis, but scored 5 unanswered. Nomar Garcia-Parra flies to right. Jeremy Hermida makes this catch 99 out of 100 times. This happened to be that one time. 5-3. Dodgers take a 2-run lead. But a bunt from Hanley Ramirez gave Florida a 6-5 lead and ultimately a 6-5 win and a 7-6 loss for the 51s. In Tucson this evening as they begin a 5-game series.
Wow. And in the heat, too.
And in the heat of Tucson.
Bob, it's hot down there, too. Yeah. We'll be right back.
The heat has been relentless, and now humidity is heading our way. That's not a cool change. Check neighborhood weather first thing Monday morning.
Another hot week. All right. Well, Skywitness 8 traffic, of course, we'll have that for you Monday as well. Plus, what's driving you crazy? See you at 5.